All right, party people, how you doing? This is Sean, your man, Sean the Bear, and this is Toby the Bear. We're here, and my internet is okay. We're gonna have some problems. Hopefully, not too bad on my recording side, but the internet's kind of choppy today, so we're gonna try to fucking hope that doesn't. It's not a recurring thing. So, how's it going, Toby?
It's going, man. Got the word out today that Jim McMahon told everyone that the Bears was his least favorite team.
Oh wow,
That his favorite team to work with was the Packers. That
wow.
Chicago was where quarterbacks go to die. So
He's right. He's right about that last part at least. But wow, that's a great way to start off the show. And just get a little fucking negativity for the old blue and orange. That's great. Good
way,
job.
way of the Bear, right?
That's true. Yeah, I guess we got to. That might be a thing we have to do from now on. We have to incorporate like some horrible like bear thing right in the beginning. A bear murders. Wouldn't that be funny? A bear hunts down a family of four, eats them ass first.
Oh God.
I heard that's what bears do. They eat your ass first for some reason. I don't know if that's true. That seems kind of weird, but I mean, hey man, chocolate. I mean, they think it's chocolate. I don't know. Did you see The Revenant? I don't know. I don't know if that ever.
I have seen The Revenant. Yes.
That was a good movie.
Yeah. It's been a
Yeah,
while, but yeah.
I would be scared shitless. Maybe that's why they want to go for your ass first because you got yes, soft serve right off the bat. Like okay, around the corner fudge is made.
Yeah,
Um,
right. I don't
anyways,
know.
we got off to quite an illustrious start here. It's
I don't know
okay.
if bears eat people. Like, I'm not sure.
They
Like,
certainly do, man. Have you seen Grizzly Man?
well, I
The
know that
documentary Grizzly Man?
they'll kill you, right? Like that I know.
Oh, they
But
definitely eat you.
I don't know if they'd eat you.
Well, bro, man, think about it. Do they kill like other animals and then just leave them? No, they eat them. If they're hungry, they'll kill you and they will eat you.
Yeah, but I don't think they go for like deer and like the big animals. They eat like salmon, and then they eat a lot of vegetables too.
They do go after some deer, like sometimes like the little baby deer that are slow because bears can run like 40 miles an hour.
Man, I'm just kind of thinking like imagining in my head a bear like pouncing on a deer, and it's horrific.
Oh man,
Like,
you ever seen one like in full like jaunt? It's terrifying. Like the ground is shaking. Like I've seen videos where it's just like, boom, 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 and you're just like, holy shit! I can imagine it'd be like freaky. It'd be like like I don't know. It'd be insane because they're like 800 pounds, and to move that much mass that fast.
yeah, it's
I don't know.
like. Have you seen the picture of the hairless bear?
I don't think so. Huh?
Oh man, you got to Google images hairless bear. It looks terrifying. Like, oh my God.
Can
Ugh.
how hard would it be to do this right now and show everybody?
I don't know. You should be able to share your screen if you pull up. Yeah, you have a share screen feature.
Let's see here.
I wonder if that doesn't really make my face clearer, does it? Well, turn on a different light.
Okay, I'll look this up.
Because my face looked pretty washed out before I.
I think yeah, I noticed that. I thought it was your just your screen. Oh my god, that is terrifying.
No, it's not my camera. It's the lighting. Like,
No, I thought no, your screen, like the screen from your monitor.
oh yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Let's take a look at this guy.
Hold on here.
I don't see it yet.
No, I'm trying to. I don't know if I have my. Hey, how do I do this here? Connect to Wi-Fi. Oh, see, I gotta be connected to the Wi-Fi. That's not cool. That won't work.
All right. Well, like, are you recording like my stuff, right? Because I can probably look it up and put it on there.
Yeah, I'm recording both the whole screen.
Let's see. Let's see. It looks messed up. Like,
Yeah, the one that I pulled up is very, very terrifying looking.
let's see.
I mean, worst case scenario, I can put the phone in front of the camera, but
So here we go. Share screen. You have to enable sharing for me.
how do I do that? You told me that last time. I don't remember. You're right.
Yeah.
Multiple
Settings.
multiple participants can share simultaneously. We'll try that. All right, try it.
All right, share screen. Share this screen. Make sure I don't have like Pornhub up or something in another
Yeah.
tab. All right, so here we go. Hey, you
Oh
see it?
god. Oh, the little hairless baboon. Oh my god, that's fucking crazy
The
too.
hairless baboon is crazy, but dude,
The hairless bear looks like a demon kind of like seriously like
dude, I wouldn't want that coming at me. Like,
holy shit.
not that I'd want a bear with hair coming at me either, but like if they were coming at me at opposite directions, I'm pretty sure I'd run toward the one with hair.
Wow.
Like, yeah,
That is crazy.
yeah, no.
That's pretty much what I saw too. That's weird. Well, like those hairless fucking cats. Those are weird too. Those little Sphinx cats.
Oh, the ball
They're,
sacks. I mean cats.
yeah, seriously. They're kind of cute, but totally weird.
My sister wants one, like in the worst way.
They're expensive as hell too.
Yeah, that's
Now,
the.
I'll get you a cat and I'll shave the damn thing. Wouldn't it be funny to shave a cat? Just completely bald, almost as bald as you can make it, I guess. But
and then bring it over. Like,
oh
here
my
you go.
god, yeah, I got this for you.
Yeah, just pay me back. Pay me back $400.
Yeah, I got him on a deal. Oh man, that's funny shit. So I had a good idea for. You've never seen The Office, right? You've seen bits and.
I've seen the people put like funny clips of it
Okay.
on Facebook and stuff, but
I think that we can do a side bear project where we watch it. Like we'll do like a watch party. We won't be able to obviously broadcast that part, but we'll watch it an episode. We'll go through every episode that we can, as long as until we're like sick of it. We'll start with episode 1. We'll watch it. You assess how you feel about it, because it's gonna be the first time you're ever gonna see it. I've seen like every episode like 15 times because they played on Comedy Central like nonstop, and so like that's pretty much what I have right now. I don't have my smart TV with me, so I don't have that like access to everything. I just have like stupid cable right now, and so that's what I primarily watch. And I'll watch the same episode multiple times, laugh just as hard as I did the first time. Something about that show. But I think it'd be kind of cool to get your reaction from like it's been what 2000, I think 2012 was the last time that it was on. So like you've had ample time to watch it, but it's still something you don't necessarily care to. But
yeah, I mean, not that I wouldn't. Yeah,
but I might turn you and might be like I'd make you office gay and you like you know what I mean. So tell me if you think that might be kind of fun. I think that might be kind of interesting.
What I know about The Office is the producers, in some way, shape, or form, thought that after Steve Carell left the show, that it was possible they could continue. Which, like obviously not. Like,
let me tell you that right now. And this will be something we can definitely talk about if we decide to do this. The show did fall off a little bit. They did bring in a couple characters, new characters though. That did help it a lot. Like you know who James Spader is? He's a pretty well known actor.
That sounds familiar. Like
James Spader. He was like Blacklist was a big TV show he was on just recently.
Yeah. I know him. Yep.
He came on as a character as like he ended up like was a CEO of the company, of the office company that they work for, and he is fucking hilarious. The dude's confidence is like through the fucking ceiling, and he's a millionaire. So he's got that to go for it as well. And just the way he talks circles around people and shit. It's hilarious. And everybody's just so like fucking like off kilter because of him and everything because he's so fucking like smarter than them, I guess, in a sense. But it's
so
hilarious.
they tried to make it into the Big Bang Theory then, like.
See, and that's a show that maybe we need to do for you because I've only seen a couple of Big Bang Theories.
Again, so me too, but I understand the premise. As Sheldon's like the smart dude, and like it's funny because of that. So it seems like they tried to.
I wouldn't say that he's like the same kind of smart. I think he's just very. I don't know how to explain it. He's witty. He's wittier than most people, I guess. I don't know how to explain it until you actually get to see him because, like, you get it once you see it, if that makes sense. Sure. So, I think that it would be kind of cool to do that, and like, if we watch one episode like every week or every other week or whatever, that way we because like I think on Peacock they have the first 3 seasons free. You don't have to sign up for Peacock to get them. So that's cool. I mean, that's a big chunk of time because I know like the two people. There's two people that are actually on the show, like the Pam character and Angela. They're best friends in real life, and
So
they do a breakdown podcast already. But they were part of it, so like I mean, they it's not the same thing. They're breaking down shit that happened like off scene and stuff like that, and what they were thinking during this scene and stuff like that. This is a little different because you're going in almost completely blind. I mean, I'm sure you know
sure.
about like I'm sure you've seen the memes about like the appliances and Jello and shit like that.
Yeah, tons of memes, and I know some of the characters, not by name, but like I've seen so many clips of it. Like I know like some of their mannerisms and things like that. So
Yeah,
not like completely blind, but
I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
yeah, yeah.
We can either give it a couple chances, and if we don't like it, then we're like, it was worth an experiment.
Have you seen Letterkenny?
No, I've seen it advertised, and I've seen like little clips on TikTok,
Oh man,
and there are some that have been kind of funny to me.
it's like so. The show is kind of dry Canadian humor, which I absolutely love, by the way. But like, you kind of you kind of have to see like the whole episode to like understand like I don't know, some of the it's not like a lot of one-liners like a lot of comedies are. It's got some one-liners, but like not
Yeah.
really. So you kind of got to watch the show. But dude, like I'm not a big TV watcher, as the viewers will learn as we go through the show. But that's one comedy that, oh my god, I definitely 10 out of 10 recommend. It's funny.
Oh man, I don't know if it was. I remember seeing this one clip. I'm not going to even say it because I don't even know if I can do it justice. It's been too long since I've seen it, but I think that was from that show, and I remember dying laughing. Do the guys work at like they work at like a car repair place or something?
No, well, so there's different factions, if you will, and the main characters, I guess, they're Hicks. They sell fruit out of a fruit cart, like our
Okay, then this isn't the same one.
vegetables. Yeah, farmers market. But like I'm not saying I've even seen all the episodes either, so don't.
Oh boy, choppy choppy. That's a great pause.
Um, But a friend of mine, I wouldn't say it's me at all because I would never do this. I'm a law-abiding citizen. But a friend of mine uses torrent programs to get media.
Oh my god.
I mean, it would never be me. Never, never.
Never. I had a friend that did that too, and he ended up he had he had worked at this place that had a server that was not being used, and so he decided to take it home, and he had the server. And it was like I don't know, it was like 100 terabyte server or something crazy, and so he started downloading movies to it. He even created an app that anybody could go on it and they could access that server. It was just like Netflix, and it was pretty awesome because he'd get a lot of new movies that were not even like out of the theater yet. And he had one dude that was like obsessed with downloading them. So he'd come over and he just downloaded hundreds and hundreds of movies all the time, and he got a cease and desist letter, and so he's like, "Damn it, I had to shut down that thing." So that was kind of annoying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of movies I had flagged. And I was
But
like, "I'm gonna watch," and didn't get to watch.
if you were in the know, or if you knew somebody who's in the know, I've heard in the grapevine there's things like VPNs that can get around that type of thing.
Sure.
But I don't know about that personally. But
It's all
but
speculation.
yeah, in theory, a VPN could, if one were to participate.
Right. Not that we don't condone that kind of action.
No,
Here.
absolutely not. No,
No.
never.
I never did any of that LimeWire stuff back in the day. No.
Oh, we'd see that, give your computer aids to download a few.
Yeah, that was really bad.
Oh
Just
my
to get a couple porn clips and your computer's completely fucked.
God. I remember like just downloading a song. Was
Oh
like
yeah, songs.
Just
I
one
hated.
song.
Well, I hated like if I had like a couple cool songs, and then you start seeing people downloading them from you, and you're like, stop. I'm like, no, I will not borrow any music to you.
No, leech.
That's funny.
Yeah, no. I used so back in the day, before I was 18, before I realized how wrong this was, I used Internet Relay Chat, which IRC for short, which was very, very long time ago. But
Hmm.
people would set up file servers on there, and it was all peer to peer, and you could get things before Kaza or before LimeWire, long before that. And then, of
Wow.
course, in high school, everybody Kaza and LimeWire and
Mm-hmm.
Napster,
Napster.
that whole thing. Um, you know, and then after that, after I turned 18, I realized how wrong that was.
I'm glad you
Y-
came to the light.
And
I'm
yeah.
proud of you. I'm proud of you. Moving forward, seeking God's work. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, something like that. So there was an album that I remember that I got off of Napster. It was you ever heard of the band Our Lady Peace? They've been
No, man.
around. They've been around since the 90s. But they're a great album. I think it was like their second or no, it wasn't their second one. They'd been around for a while. I remember though that it was a new album that came out, and it was like happened to show up on Napster. So I had a buddy that I didn't have Napster. I had a buddy that had it, and he ripped a CD for me, and I'll listen to that album every once in a while, like on Spotify. It'll take me right back to that day when we stole that music in the first place. I mean, borrowed it.
I mean, stealing implies that someone else lost it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. You're just borrowing. They're sharing files with you. It's called shareware.
Just copied somebody's homework. Like,
Oh, man. Everybody copies everybody else's homework. Come on, let's be real.
so in like Eastern culture, it's more a collectivist society where we're individualistic. They're collectivistic. Or my words are getting jumbled up here. But anyway, you know, art and music and basically intellectual property as we see it here, they have a different view on it. It's like it belongs to the community, rather than it's Kanye West's new single.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
it's a different view. So it's kind of interesting how people go to jail or get hundreds of thousands of dollars of fines here, where in some countries it wouldn't even be a crime, it would be encouraged.
Right. Which is funny because if you sold like an apple, then your hand's cut off.
No, in the same country.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
You get a 25-cent apple, your arm's cut off, your hand's cut off. But people that spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars to record this music, why not? They're totally different.
it's just insane the way it doesn't matter like how worldly you are. Like I've traveled all across the world. I've been exactly 12 hours different from home. So I was all the way
In the future. That's what they call that.
directly across the globe. But anyway, uh even how worldly I am, it still like boggles my mind, and I can't wrap my mind around how different these different cultures like view these things so drastically differently. Like I mean, we have somebody stealing food in the United States. I mean, you might get retail theft more than likely, unless it's a lot of food. It's going to be a misdemeanor. Like it's not a big deal. But you're in Saudi Arabia and you steal an apple, like you're losing a digit at least. Like,
Yeah.
so it's insane. But then again, you look at like art and intellectual property, and it's the exact opposite. And then things like we're on a recorded line, we're going to be posting this to social media, and I can say fuck the government. I can say
Right.
that.
Yeah.
It's fine. I can even do this. Fuck the government, right? It's fine. Like it's no big deal because
You're naughty.
I have the First Amendment right to do that. Whereas, in North Korea, you can't say that.
Yeah, like a black screen. Thanks, Tony.
No, so it's just it's insane to me. I don't know. I don't know how else to phrase that.
It's different. It's like a different world, man. It's like it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Oh, the fucking bears just creep me out again.
Yeah, he's on my other monitor. Like,
I went to pull up my notes, and that's just the first thing popped. God, fucking bear. Oh,
I wonder why the bear is hairless. Like, that's
yeah. Probably because his dad was bald. I don't know. Maybe male pattern baldness. I don't know.
male pattern baldness.
It's genetic, man. Come on. So, I don't know, I haven't talked about this at all, but except online, I started a t-shirt clothing company.
Shameless plug.
A shameless plug, yes, exactly. I was gonna make a commercial, but I'm like, it's kind of stupid. So I said, never mind. So, but I will. I'm wearing the shirt, one of my shirts. See, here we go. Chat. That's one of many designs we have on our website. But it's easy to look for. All you have to do is Google Chet brand, and it'll show up right at the top. And then you click that, it'll take you to the Facebook page, and there's a link there that goes to my Etsy page, and you get 10% off, like your entire order. It's pretty cool. So I've got sweatshirts on there. I've got shirts. I have the insulated like Yeti type mugs. Gosh, all kinds of stuff. Masks. It's good. I'm gonna throw a mask on.
Go on there, go on Etsy, find out the merch, man. You gotta get the merch. Support the bear.
I know, man. Gotta make that money somehow, man. So yeah, check it out. Anybody that wants to go out and check it out, it's pretty cool. You get 10% off your first all your orders. Yeah, I haven't even changed the coupon. It never expires. So you just click on that link every time, you get 10% off. It's pretty cool. It's like saving like sales tax. So yeah, check it out. And we got new stuff coming out all the time. So and I post stuff. So if you like, if you're on my Facebook or if you're on my any kind of social media, you'll get updates on that shit all the time. So yeah, go for it.
Assuming Zuckerberg allows you to see it.
Right, which I think that I'm being shadow banned right now, but I don't know why. Whatever. I did pay. I just recently did boost one though, so it'll go to somebody. Probably just won't necessarily go to my friends, but I just paid for like an advertising type, promotion thing. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, like I guess you watch any stream or any podcast, get supported with the merch. Like,
yeah, and I do want to eventually. We're gonna make Way of the Bear merch too. There'll be Way of the Bear shirts. I'm just trying to decide how I want to go about that. With I might actually. Have you ever heard of that Fiverr company where like it's just or the Fiverr app? Have you ever heard of that?
Nah.
Basically, it's a community where there is like endless graphic designers, voiceover actors, anything that does like any kind of production you can get. And so like you can like contact somebody for a price, depending on it varies. It depends. Sometimes it starts at like $5. You can have them create like a logo for you or something. I thought maybe like reaching out and like coming out with. I'm not a big graphic designer, so I can get the ideas here. It's just getting it down to the paper is the hard part.
Yeah.
And so that's why I would need somebody to be like, hey, this is what I'm looking for. But it might be kind of cool to come up with like some kind of even if it only cost me like $10-$20 and get a couple different people to do it, and then kind of just all of those designs eventually you're paying for them, so you have the rights to them. They don't have the rights to them, and they usually sign over the rights through like mumbo jumbo paperwork probably. And so if we had like 3 or 4 different designs, I could show them to you, show them to the people that do watch this. Let's see if there's anybody that's interested in which one would be like the new logo for the actual podcast. Might be kind of cool.
Well, that's a cool concept, like because like there's a lot of people who want to start like a new podcast or want to start a cooking show or whatever, and like so say I want to do cooking with Toby, right? But then I wanted like a cool like a word art almost with cooking with Toby to put over the top of my splash screen, like I would have no idea how to do that. No clue, so that's pretty cool. That's a cool
and like very cool. And like they have like musicians on there, so if you wanted to have somebody make you like a jingle, you can. It's crazy all those kind of fucking people on there. It's Fiverr. It's FIVR. They're not a sponsor, but who cares? Put them out there and.
But if you're watching, we'd like you to become a sponsor.
Yeah, definitely. We'd love to have any sponsor as possible. I'm working on See, I had talked to him years ago when we first started the podcast, the original podcast. He was the bass player from a band that I really like called the Damwells. You've probably heard me talk about them in the past. I don't know. The Damwells, does that ring a bell to you?
No, it doesn't ring a bell to
Okay.
me. But then again, like, you've talked to me about so many different kinds of bands. Like,
Yeah,
I,
I know they've been in there. I know that they're just probably just getting glossed over it, whatever.
all I remember is Pearl Jam this, Pearl Jam that.
Well, then that's all you have to really remember. So actually, the Damwells are actually up there with my favorite bands, like with Pearl Jam. Actually, that's how much I like them. They're not a band together anymore, but when we first started, I contacted, there's four guys in the band. I contacted each one saying, "Hey, would you mind coming on my podcast?" And like through like a Skype call or something. This is before Zoom was even popular, and now it'd be so much easier instead of just trying to figure out a fucking Skype and all that bullshit. So, um, so would you be interested to come on for like 20, 30 minutes and just kind of bullshit about music stuff? And I got responses from three of the four band members,
Wow.
and they're all on Facebook. And they're like, "Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Just let me know, give me a time, blah blah blah." And shit happened where like we weren't able to do it. We weren't able to figure out the logistics of how to get them on there and record it and all that stuff because we just didn't know what the fuck we were doing at the time. The one person that didn't contact, or he did contact me, excuse me, but it was in a denial, was the lead singer.
Well, I mean,
And he was like, the way he did it though was in a dick move. And I've gone out to see the lead singer play solo gigs live and stuff like that, and I've talked with him in person. Look at that little fur ball. That looks like a little furry, like, man, that's a big cat.
it is a big cat. His name is Jockin.
He's got a big head.
You're just disgusting shaving you, Jockin. So what are
Let's
you
do
doing
it. That'd be awesome.
we think he's half Maine Coon. His mama got out, was a farm kitty, and she got pregnant and had this guy, and he's a big cat.
Yeah, that's what I thought right when I saw him. I was like, damn, that's like a Mancoon or something. Those are big fucking cats. Let me finish up this thought real quick though. So the lead singer got back to me, and I said, it'd be cool to just kind of just talk about like the band and stuff like that, and anything new you got going on. He texted me back saying thanks for the offer, but I've said everything I have to say about the band.
Yeah, okay, buddy.
And then I was gonna go respond back saying, well, we can talk about like new, because he's in a new band now. He's dating like some actress or whatever in LA, and they have this band that's like '80s type fucking rock band, like a Blondie type rock band, where she's the lead singer, and he's a lead singer, but he's just playing guitar. Go ahead and put the best voice in the background and do nothing with it. Yeah, that's what you should do.
But like the whole concept, like I've said everything I can about this band. Like Mick Jagger still does interviews.
Right.
I mean, come on.
That's why I came across so douchey, and I was just like,
Fuck
well,
you.
I tried to text him back saying, hey, we can talk about like new stuff. We don't have to talk about the band, and he ignored it. Like it was almost like the little check mark never like filled in.
Yeah.
So he ignored the conversation. So he didn't even want me to like ever contact him again. I'm like, what a fucker. So, but like I said, the bass player, drummer, and the other guitarist, they had a couple guitarists during like their span. But the one guy I saw, so when I saw them live, the guitarist that I saw them with, that's who I wanted to talk to. So, lately I've been thinking about now that like it's so much easier to like do this kind of thing with a Zoom. The bass player lives in Colorado, and his name is Ted Hudson. I think that'd be kind of cool because I think they still have a decent crowd following. That if I could get an interview with somebody from the Damwells, that might get us a little bit more traffic. You know what I'm saying?
Damn well right.
Damn well right. So if I can get him and then maybe talk to the other guys, saying, hey, no, I know it's been a bit and your life was going fucking crazy. Because then, like Ted, I know during the time that I talked to him last, he's become a nurse. He's gotten married. He moved to Colorado, and he has a baby. Like all that in just a matter of like 2 years. And so I'm like, there's a lot to talk about, and we can also talk about this. I know he's doing something new with I'm his friend on Facebook, so like I see his actual posts, and he's saying how he's like practicing with another band or whatever. So I'm curious to see what he has to do. He's a great bass player. He's like very just a straightforward bass player, but very, I don't know, just some of the bass lines that he has are very kind of cool and they're just like kind of different. And I just would love to pick his brain for like even if it was just 20, even if you just give us 10, 20 minutes of his time. I think it'd be cool just kind of fit him in somewhere. It could be something that we could either record it live or we can, which that might be kind of cool to have him if he could come in on when we're actually doing it, or I could just record it some other time and just cut it in.
So speaking to the lead singer being kind of a douche, right? Like,
yeah,
you know, it almost makes you like not want to listen to their band anymore. You know, like
I kind of thought that too, but man, the music's so fucking good though.
So
it's hard.
Let me touch on that real quick. So being a salesman, I go into a lot of businesses because I'm a business-to-business salesman. And so a lot of times I walk in unannounced. It just is, it's the whole hunter sales thing. But I'll go into restaurants a lot. And now a lot of times when I'm in a city, I'm an hour away from home. So I'm probably eating lunch out. Like it's just going to happen. I'll eat lunch somewhere. But I can't tell you how many times restaurant owners have been rude, like simply rude. Like,
yeah.
Like, get out of here! What are you going to sell?
Seriously?
Just absolutely rude to me. I'm like,
wow.
Well, I thought I might eat lunch here too after this, but I guess not. Like, you know.
Wow, that's douche, man. That's a big douche.
Like, you know, like there's this one guy.
Are we in the fucking 50s or something? Like what? Like, get out of here! You know,
I mean, they use different language, you know, different things. There's always some denial, and then like
sassafras.
Some rude tone, some denial, you know, like I'm subhuman because I'm a salesman. I'm like, all right, well, I'd probably make more money.
They're seriously making fun of you for being a salesman?
I'm not making fun, but like...
Well, I mean, talking down to you because you're a salesman, that's pretty fucked up.
Oh, for sure.
Guess what being in a restaurant is? Service. You're a salesman, dumb fuckers.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Be nice to salesmen. Like, you can tell them no, it's fine, but like,
yeah.
don't
they're fine hearing no as long as it's in a nice tone. But no, thanks, man. I'm doing this right now, but maybe I'll keep you in mind. That's the best thing you can say. I'll keep you in mind, and then that's the least of that's like being a salesman. You're like, okay, well, at least if he's being honest, at least keep me in mind for future, and maybe they'll turn into something later.
Yeah,
that's the best way you can like end things.
Yeah, just be nice. Like, that's all. Like, not saying you have to buy from them. Like, yeah. just be nice. But no, like, definitely, there's been even not just restaurants too. Like some stores that I was seriously considering buying things at, or let's see. There was an art store that I was gonna buy a friend a new easel. They were looking for a new easel. Theirs had broken, and I was in the market for one anyway. So I stopped in to do my little sales thing, and then I was thinking like on my way out, like I was gonna buy them this easel, and it was like $100 easel, and so I was talking with the owner, and like he was just such a d-bag. Just such a d-bag. Like, and I'm like, I guess not. Like, I guess you don't want my money. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, business owners don't realize like the salesman can also be their customers. Like, it's insane to me.
Yeah, I'm that way with food places because just in the last couple months, I was living in Brentwood in Tennessee for a little bit, so I'm in Murfreesboro now. They're about 35 minutes away from each other. But I was at a Brentwood Jimmy John's, and it was like 8:00, and 8:00 is kind of early to shut your fucking restaurant down. I'm not. That's ridiculous. And so I go in. It's 8:00, and everything's on. There's still customers in there. Douchebag behind the counter. We close at 8:00. Really? I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm never coming here again. Like, I'm like, all right. I've written off. I'm like, that Jimmy John's is dead to me. I'm like, you're gonna like, you can just like, hey man, it's 8:00. We're closing, but let's come on, let's squeeze in one more sandwich. Or, hey man, just so you know, we're closing at 8. It's kind of, blah, blah. Oh, okay, no problem. I don't want to fucking. I don't like going in when people are just closing. I don't like being that person that they close at 10 and you come in at 9:55. You're like, oh, we just made it because it's another hour that you're keeping everybody else there. Though they're trying to clean up the fucking restaurant. Right. I've done it all. So I know how it goes. I don't like to do that. But when you ask me, then fuck you, man.
the whole problem with this scenario and in general is, so you walk in, it's almost 8 o'clock. The guy behind the counter, he's making minimum wage. He's probably like, he's been in this job for 2 years, has no chance at getting promoted ever, and
Yeah.
is just like floating along, gets paid by the hour, not by the sandwich. And he's like, I don't have to do any more work. Get out of here. 8 o'clock. We're done.
Right. Right.
And then you're all like, well, I'll never come here again. And the dude's like, good, I don't care, because like he doesn't make money like
Yeah.
off
He
of,
didn't care.
so he
I
doesn't
don't
care
fucking
at
care.
all.
Yeah. Good. I don't want to see your dumb ass here.
Yeah, fuck you too. Like,
I mean, I am like that. So I mean, I get what you're saying with like, lead singer was a douche, but I mean, I can't hold that against the other three guys. They created the music too. That's my rationalization for music. Music doesn't follow my normal like thought processes on other things.
yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like, the lead singer of a group like always gets the most credit, I think. But
He definitely, yeah. He wrote everything. He did almost all the music. I mean, this guy does get the credit for everything.
okay, well, cool. But like, if you think about it, the Cranberries actually did not start with Dolores O'Riordan.
Oh,
They,
really?
they had another singer, and back when they were the Cranberries Saw Us was the band name, and they had a different lead singer. And for whatever reason, the lead singer left the band. I don't know if she was asked to leave or if she left on her own accord. But then they were looking for a singer and just happened upon Dolores O'Riordan,
Mm,
which just happened to be like the perfect singer
a little
for,
bit, yeah.
like, I mean, like, so, but then again, you look at bands like AC/DC, right? Bon Scott drinks
Mm,
himself to death, and then you have Brian
Brian
Johnson
Johnson.
comes
Well,
in,
his voice is getting fucked up too. His,
he,
I don't even
he
think he
does,
does
a,
it.
does a good job. Like,
Yeah, and I agree with you, but I think his like voice is getting all fucked up now too. Where I don't even know if he's gonna be able to tour much anymore.
well, and
So
then
I wonder if they're
like
gonna get another person.
a year or two ago, Malcolm Young died, right? Like,
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
so, I mean, Bon Scott's dead. Malcolm Young died. Brian Johnson's new. Like, I mean, you got, I guess, Angus Young.
Brian Johnson's new, as in like from like the '80s too.
Well, I mean, fair. But I meant new from like the band's conception. So like,
Sure. Well, he's probably honestly been in the band longer than Bon Scott was by this point.
for sure.
That's how it
I,
was. Go ahead.
I still see, like, when I think of AC/DC, I immediately like think of like Malcolm, Angus Young, Bon Scott. Like
Sure.
that's what I think of. But you're right. At this point, Brian Johnson probably has been in AC/DC longer than Bon Scott.
That was a funny thing with a weird thing with the band that I was in. Our drummer had died shortly after the first album was recorded, and then like his best friend, we were at the funeral, and that was the first time we'd seen his best friend that also played the drums in a while. We hadn't seen Stan in a long time. He had played in a couple other bands around town, so we'd seen him then here and there. And we were just kind of BSing on the car ride to the cemetery, saying we all took the same car, and because we're all pallbearers, and he's just saying like how he just got out of a band or whatever, and we're just like, this is weird to talk about right now, but if you ever want to come over and jam, we're trying to decide whether or not we're going to keep the band going because of he's gone or not, and we're like, I think that he would probably appreciate us to continue, especially with his best friend, instead of just finding some schmuck off the street. And so then, like, after he did ultimately join, and then like it got to a point where he was in the band longer than Jason originally was. So we brought that up. Like, isn't that weird that like you've been in the band longer than Jason was now? He's like, I said, that really is weird.
Yeah,
So it was just
I'm sure it happens more often than than you would expect, like other things. Well,
I'm sure it does. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other examples. I just can't right now. But yeah, I don't know. But it's a weird thing. And like in my mind, I even said it like right here on camera. Brian Johnson's the new guy, even though he's like not.
right.
Like, he's been with AC/DC longer than I've been alive. Like,
yeah. It's actually kind of shocking that you know who Bon Scott is.
Well, I mean, I think So my favorite song ever is "Losing My Religion" by REM. I like that song a lot.
That's your favorite
However,
song?
yeah, it is. It is actually. I like the
Oh,
song a lot.
it's a good
Uh,
song.
it is. It's quality. It's quality. However, I think like a very close runner-up is "She's Got the Jack" by AC/DC, and Bon Scott sung that one. And basically, the Jack. Don't quote me on this one, but I know it's definitely slang for an STD. I think it's chlamydia, but don't
Okay.
quote me on that. So once you understand that the Jack is chlamydia, and then you listen to the song, oh my God, it is hilarious.
I'm gonna have to look. Oh shit! I'm gonna have to look it up. That sounds funny. My one of my favorite songs of theirs. I don't consider them to be in like a top 20 of my favorite bands or anything, but just they have some great sounding guitar. Like that guitar tone that Angus Young has is just phenomenal. And like Thunderstruck, and just the beginning of the Thunderstruck is awesome. Like the
Yeah,
thunder, like oh my god, what am I in for? I'm gonna die. They're gonna hit this first big note, and my face is gonna melt off my bones. And like it's just that kind of thing. It's just insane to like. I don't know. I was thinking about this just the other day about how like music is so like part of my life that I don't know. It feels like it's almost like connected to me in a certain way where I can feel it. Like, and I'm not saying like I'm different than others. I'm sure many people feel the same way, and there's a lot of people that don't feel that at all. They're just like, yeah, I like listening to it in the car. But like, I'll sit around and like, if I don't really have anything to do, I'll put on some. I've got some pretty decent headphones. Not your like little $20 Sony headphones, but like I've spent some money on some headphones that have
Beats by Dre.
yeah, beats of shit, shits by Dre. Over one of the most overpriced headphones in the world. But so anyways, like I'll sit down and I'll put on some like music. And just you'll hear something, it'll just like flow through me, and it'll just be like, whew, man, it just gives me like the weird, like just a weird chill vibes and stuff like that, and just I don't know about it, and that like some of like AC/DC's music does that to me, and just because that guitar, there's something about guitar tone. Like speaking of like the Cranberries, Monster, that right when it first like, dun, 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 when the guitar first hits in, you're just like, oh my god, like you just want to be in front of like a 1200-watt stereo, just cranking the bitch up, just, yes.
But like, speaking of the Cranberries, though, like they're probably nobody's favorite band. They're just like not that kind of band. But who over 30 doesn't know like the chorus to "Linger"?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
or even just the Zombie too. Like
zombie, yeah, zombie or "Linger" or what's the other big one? Dreams. God damn it.
Zombie is the guitar riff that I'm referring to. I think I said Machine, but
you said Monster, but I understand.
Oh, Monster! That's a fucking Monster and Zombie. They're close. REM had a Monster song. That's where I got that from. There's all the shit rattling in my brain.
Look at like I know. So Dreams was one that I was saying.
I'm trying to think about it. I'm sure I've heard of that one.
Dreams?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. It was like all over the radio and
Dreams.
like 93.
I'd say play it.
I'm not gonna attempt to sing it because I can't.
I'd say play it, but we'll probably get flagged. We got flagged for one thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if you can even show the lyrics. I don't even know what the rules are.
It's I think you can show lyrics or something, but I don't think you can play the actual music unless you have permission.
Like, I don't know. I don't think Dolores cares anymore, to be honest.
Too soon.
One way or the other. No, it was Bad Wolves, right? They just redid Zombie, right? Am I thinking the right band?
Yes.
So they were supposed, like, she died just a few days, if not maybe.
She gave her what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, it was supposed to be a collaboration.
Yeah, but she gave her, that's right, that's what I'm thinking of. I was thinking like she gave her like her good graces or whatever that they could do or whatever.
Yeah, like she was supposed to sing it with them. It was supposed to be like Bad Wolves Zombie featuring Dolores O'Riordan. Like that was supposed to be like that, but then she died. Like I want to say it was days, maybe weeks, but I think it was days before they recorded it,
Days,
which is
days sounds right to me. I think I've heard that too.
insane. And it's kind of crazy because I kind of caught on to the Cranberries later. It was probably like 2010s by the time I started listening to the Cranberries,
Mm-hmm.
whereas like they were popular in the 90s. And so like I caught on to them kind of late, and then I'm like, oh, I wonder if Dolores is still around. Yeah, she is. Awesome. Like she's still alive. And like a week later, she died.
Jeez,
Like
screwed up.
so one of the saddest musical deaths actually just happened. Was it early this year, maybe late last year? Little Richard. Um,
Yeah,
Little Richard. So what people don't know is, I mean, he and others like him were like the true like fathers of rock music.
yeah.
I mean, they were like the true the start of it. Even Elvis himself said that he used to hang out at black clubs because he enjoyed their music, this new rock music that was coming up.
Uh-huh.
And he was actually documented like literally hiding behind the piano just so he could listen to the music at the black establishments.
Wow.
And so it's just amazing. And then you get so Tutti Frutti is an awesome song by Little Richard. Highly recommend listening to it. The copyright on that's probably expired.
Everybody probably knows that song.
Yeah,
Even if you're not big into music, you've probably heard that at some point.
yeah. So that song was relatively popular even before, but producers thought that being a black man singing it wasn't going to get the notoriety that it would if a white man sung it. So they tried to push Pat Boone singing Tutti Frutti.
Wow.
And you can pull it up on YouTube or whatever and listen to Pat Boone's version of Tutti Frutti.
I'm gonna have to.
So I mean, Little Richard was like bop ba doo bop bop bam boom, and Pat Boone was like, bop ba doo bop bop bam boom. Like it was that stark of a like Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy, Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy.
I've had my new memes now. your little renditions.
But I mean, it's just like it was awful. Like
Yeah, I bet.
Just seeing like the racism and how they handled Little Richard back then, but then he persevered. I mean, people knew him, they loved his music. Obviously, when most people think about Tutti Frutti, they think about Little Richard's version instead of Pat Boone's version. So
I didn't even know Pat Boone did it.
Right, and most people don't. Thankfully, most people don't. And here I am spreading it around, right? But
it was in the vault. Thanks.
But no, it's really good that his music kind of went through and inspired people like
Totally.
Elvis, who inspired people, to like, inspired the next generation and the next. Like we wouldn't have your hair metal bands. Dee Snider would never have sung rock and roll if it wasn't for people like Little Richard and maybe Little Richard himself.
Right.
So it's just kind of crazy how that snowballed.
That's crazy.
So
I was trying to think of like you said like basically the godfathers of rock and roll or the fathers of rock and roll or however you want to say it. I'm like, how many are left? Because like what, Chuck Berry? Name another one that's around from like the 50s and the 40s and 50s and 60s that like cultivated that sound, like that rock and roll sound.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably some that we just don't know, because a lot of it was unrecorded music just being played in clubs,
That's
like
true.
back in the day.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess you just say popular ones and just notable. I can't think of anybody. Buddy was a Buddy guy. Was he like he's blues? He's more of a blues.
Les Paul's very dead.
He's very, very dead.
Like a lot of people would say Elvis, he's the king of rock and roll or what, but like rock and roll it was before he got
right. And they're gonna be a king of rock and roll, but there's also the Godfathers, that comes before the king. That's why you have like if you have a Godfather like in your life that they were around well before
after
you
your
were.
dad.
Yeah. Well, before you were born, kind of thing. Even so.
Sure. Yeah. No, I got you.
So
Yeah,
that's kind of where like those are like the forefathers, I guess you could say, of rock and roll.
but rock and roll was black music. Like
Yeah.
it was black music, and it's funny. Like you see some of the like Eminem in one of his songs. He actually references Elvis Presley. Like I don't want to say the lyric incorrectly, but it was something to the effect of using black people to make himself wealthy, just like Elvis Presley. But it wasn't the same. The lyric didn't go like that, but it was similar to that. And
Wow.
the fact that Eminem like recognized that and was able to write that in his lyrics was insane to me. Um,
Eminem was a pretty smart guy. I think that like he doesn't get given that kind of credit so much. I mean, it takes some real fucking talent to write some of the lyrics that he's written and like the flow and like everything like that and like just how things go together and like even just like if you've seen any of his like freestyle stuff that just comes out of his fucking head, like that's almost borderline like genius, I think, in a sense.
when he was young, when before he was famous, before he even really, he was rapping already, but before he ever got good at it, So let me ask you this: what do you do for fun? Like, we're gonna get off this podcast. What are you gonna do?
I'm probably gonna get some dinner and then I'll probably listen to some music for a little bit
Yeah.
before bed.
Marshall would grab the dictionary and sit down and read it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like he would grab the dictionary, sit down and read it, and get just try to learn new words and just expand his vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I would not want to get into like not even a rap battle, but just like a regular argument with this,
Lyric, yeah, just a regular, yeah,
just this regular
conversation.
like the regular debate. Like I wouldn't want to do that. Like like he would destroy me verbally.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah. I'd be
uh,
like, yeah, well, you're stupid. He's like, well, the veil is civil character. Okay, you just melted my brain.
yeah.
Verisimilitude.
I'll still be. I'm gonna jump off camera for just a minute. I'll be on
You
audio
would.
though.
You
Well,
would.
I gotta make an old fashioned. What do you
Get
want?
pissed. Oh man, make one for me.
But yeah, I'll still be on audio because the whole wireless headset thing.
No way. That is some crazy technology, man.
It's radio frequency.
Whoa, I hear internet is on computers now.
Okay, Homer.
I say that all the time to people, and like nobody ever calls me out on that shit.
Oh, dude, I used to be a huge Simpsons fan.
Okay, how many seasons do you think you've actually seen? This is a good topic while you're doing that shit.
Whew, I don't know.
There were like 30 seasons.
Well, I have definitely not seen the majority of it, and I've
Yeah,
seen a lot.
I think most people have not seen the majority of it. You can go on. Let's see, Disney Plus has all of them. You can go. I've gone on there once and just kind of like closed my eyes and just started pushing up and arrows up and down. Random areas, and then just whatever I land on, that's what I watch. I think 9 times out of 10, you're gonna find one you've never seen. There's
Yeah,
so
dude.
many episodes. About 22 episodes a season, and it's been on for 30 freaking seasons.
That episode, though, the internet's on computers now. That episode was awesome.
Yeah,
I remember like I don't remember the scene, but like he dipped a pencil in butter and like ate it, like licked it off the pencil. I was like pensively looking up at the ceiling, like butter,
so
and
I don't
like
remember that.
oh my gosh. Of course, he made the any key joke, which every like 90s cartoon that was making fun of the internet will make the any key joke. Like, I
The
can't find the any key.
the yeah. That's funny. My favorite episode. Do you have a favorite? Do you have one that you go to that where like that whole entire episode's hilarious with the Simpsons?
um,
I've got one that I always go to that I think it took place. This shows
oh,
how far back. I think it was like the 6th season,
so
and
early Simpsons, like the early episodes of it, kind of sucked. Like
some of them did. Yeah,
the
it took a
anime,
little while.
the animation was like not good.
Oh no, not at all.
Like if you look at like today's Homer Simpson, and then look at like the regular like old Homer Simpson. I wish I was in front of my computer right now. I'd pull up comparison pictures, but
Yeah.
like it's definitely worse. But also Homer has gotten stupider
Yep.
throughout the years,
They made it more dumb. Yeah. That's kind
which
of annoying, I think, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's still funny. Um, I don't know if I have a favorite episode. I'm trying to think. Like the episodes all blur in my mind so much. It's hard to like. They got kicked out of their house in a squatters episode. That was pretty good. um, gosh, I don't know, but go ahead. You're gonna fire off
Yeah,
your favorite one.
that's fine. I don't mind hearing yours. My favorite one was when they introduced prohibition to Springfield.
Oh, I remember that.
That is probably
Yeah,
one of the funniest episodes possible because there's so many little things, so many little like scenes that are so funny. They had that what's his Bruce Bannon or whatever the Baron, the beer Baron or whatever that was coming through,
yeah, yeah.
and so they made Moses Speakeasy. It was a pet shop,
I remember that.
and he had the big lever that he pulled to like flip around the bar. And I remember being like seeing that, and like when he flips the bar back around, Barney was in the bar. He was like in the bar, and he
I
goes.
know.
And he's like, "Oh, those gears hurt."
Yeah,
And,
but laughing 'cause I can see that in my head. Cause I
yeah,
remember
exactly. It's so funny. And then there's another one where Homer's like looking out his window or whatever, and he's talking about I don't know he hears that Baron, that Bruce Bannon guy saying, "I'll get you, I'll get you," and he goes, "No, you won't." And he's like, "Yes, I will." He's like, "Nope." It's just some classic writing. They're shouting across an entire city. And then the other one was what was the other one that was so funny to me?
Did you see the auto dialer episode?
Yeah, that was a good one too. I think I just recently saw that one. God dang it! What was the other part that was really funny on that episode?
Cheers.
Clank. I got nothing. I had something. I had like one of the little seltzer things earlier. It's still a little bit in here.
Are you a White Claw guy? Oh,
No, it's like the Bud Light seltzer ones. It's like a keto thing, You can drink it without having to feel guilty about all the calories. What's the last part of that fucking? Oh, it was when shit was exploding in the house, and Marge is like, "What is that?" And like Homer tries to cover him, going, "Pow! Ooh, excuse me!" Like he's acting like he's like burping or something. I don't know, but he's making like explosion noises to try to cover it up. He's like, "Oh, excuse me."
oh
Man,
man.
that whole episode was so fun. That was a nice little rant we had while you're making your drink.
Yeah.
It's
So
all fucking watered down.
I ran out of my large ice cubes, so I got small ice cubes in here, unfortunately. But got some 3 whiskey cherries in there, a couple ounces of bourbon, some old fashioned mix. I didn't muddle sugar. I didn't take time to do all that. But and some bitters. I don't have an orange, as I put an orange peel in here, but
Oh, you gotta have an orange, bro. All right, now you made me want to get one. Hold on, I don't have the wireless shit though.
so
I'll
we'll
just
just
be right back.
we'll just talk shit
right
about we'll just talk smack about Sean real quick. Um, no, so yeah, I actually make quite a bit of drinks. I want to say I've been on an old fashioned kick lately, but I'll do Moscow mules as well. I do like me some ginger beer. Ginger beer, vodka, and lime is delicious. In the summertime, I'm known for making margaritas by hand. So I'll use fresh squeezed lime juice, agave nectar, blue agave tequila, and I'll make margaritas from scratch that way. So
Wow,
just kind of going through my mixology.
nice. Yeah, I'm curious at what I get to hear, listen to later. I won't listen to it. So this is what I got here. It's the Bud Light seltzer. There was like a combo pack. I don't like margaritas normally, but this one's classic lime margarita. So we're gonna give it a shot.
Man.
It's the only ones that are left. They have like a mango one. They had a they had a watermelon.
You gotta come back up north this summer. Have me make you a margarita.
I'm gonna try to get there probably towards the end of summer. FYI, so we'll have to get a hook up.
Yeah, I'll make you a margarita.
But we might have to do. Maybe we can do Way of the Bear live.
Live.
I'll bring up all the, not live, but I mean you and me in person.
Sure.
I'll bring up all the I'll bring up the extra set of microphones and whatnot.
I'm fully vaccinated,
Cool.
so there's that.
That's cool.
I still can give you the Rona, but apparently not as bad, or I don't even know. But
I'm not planning on getting it, so I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm saying I'm not planning on getting Rona again. Um, I'm still on the fence about the vaccine. I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
Rona was the sickest I have ever been.
Yeah, same here.
Um, I mean, and at first I had something. I don't know what it was. They called it. The doctor literally called it the Afghan crud, because I got it when I was in Afghanistan.
Hmm.
And whatever it was, I had 105 fever for 2 days. I had muscle aches, like I thought I was going to die in a foreign country.
Oh shit.
It was super sick up until I had corona. That was the sickest I had ever been. I got put on quarters, which when you're in the army, that's pretty rare. But where I was basically, I was taken off of duty. I was restricted to my room, which I was completely cool with. As sick as I was, I didn't want to go anywhere anyway. My first sergeant actually brought me soup, which never happens ever. But
Wow.
yeah, it
So,
was. I was pretty ill, but with Rona, I mean, at first I thought, okay, it's not as bad because my fever didn't get up to 105. It was like 103. And then I had body aches, but they weren't quite as bad. But Rona lasted almost a week. Where the other one was like 2 days. So like Rona, I felt sick and crappy for almost a week. I started losing oxygen saturation. Like they were talking about, like if it got worse, I'd be on a ventilator.
mm-hmm.
Like it started to get bad.
No,
Um,
they didn't
so
have you on a ventilator at all when you went in. To
I had
the,
oxygen, but like I wasn't
oh, you
intubated.
were on. Yeah, that's right. They did talk about that with me with ventilator, but yeah, they had the oxygen. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. So, no, if you're intubated, like that's, they put you in a drug-induced coma and then shove the breathing tube down your throat.
Hmm.
But no, I didn't have that. But I was, it was pretty sick, man. So
Yeah.
that being said, like, there's so much like back and forth information out there. It's hard to decide like what is right and what is not right when it comes to the vaccine. And if you've already had corona, like what is your natural immunity to that as compared to the vaccine?
Right.
And you hear people that are so like gung ho one way or the other, and I'm kind of in the middle. I'm like, I don't really know. I'm not a immunologist. I'm not a medical professional at all, and I've heard different medical professionals say different things. So without any other knowledge, I don't know. But here's what I do know about the vaccine. It's fairly harmless, as far as what they've seen so far. So like the risk versus reward is in my favor for the vaccine. So like say it has, some benefit for me as far as extra immunity beyond my natural immunity that I got from having COVID. The risks are so low that even if it gives me just a slight benefit, then okay, it made sense. That's why I got vaccinated.
Hmm.
I don't believe they're giving me a microchip. I don't believe it's literally poison and they're trying
Yeah.
to. I don't believe any of those types of things. But there are some concerns with side effects, which I had some side effects.
Did you?
Uh, and they're also, yeah, I had fever, chills, the whole nine yards.
Oh well.
But it was short lived. It was only for half a day. It wasn't nearly like Corona.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but so there's that. But then there's also the concern over, well, what don't we know? What if this vaccine causes cancer in 8 years? And those types of things.
Right.
But I don't buy into that either, because like if you look at the studies that are done on the vaccine, I mean this vaccine is similar to other vaccines that they've done. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
like a whole new technology, like a whole new system. They're using CRISPR. And like if you look into CRISPR, definitely not the right forum to discuss CRISPR. But if you look into it, it's not new. I mean it's new, but it's not like new. It wasn't designed for corona, you know.
Okay.
Uh so that being said, I looked at it like the risk versus reward. I think the rewards will outweigh the risks to myself, which is why I went and got vaccinated. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's what I used.
I see. Interesting.
But
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
I'm vaccinated now, so we can come and cuddle, or cuddle then come. What I don't know which.
Oh, okay. Wow. I'll keep that in thought. It's like the salesman thing. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, keep that in mind. I'll let you know. I'll put it
Yeah,
on my calendar.
yeah, it was weird. My buddy, he got it, and I had hung out with him a couple times, and then he found out that he got it, and he's just like, you might want to like think about getting checked. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll probably do that. And I just kind of like for a day or so, I didn't really think about it that much. But I wasn't sleeping very sound, and I don't sleep very sound already. But like I was like you could tell that like my oxygen levels were getting kind of low, and he had one of those little like the little things on your finger,
Yeah.
the pulse ox thing, and it was registering pretty low. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was pretty low. So he's like, dude, he's like, let's go. Let me take you to the hospital. So we went to Vanderbilt through the ER. Man, that was the longest fucking wait I've ever had on an ER. I've been to a fair many ERs just with having kids needing to go or ex-wives thinking they were dying because she's a hypochondriac and needs to go or whatever. And I was waiting in the. It wasn't even. They didn't even have room like they had COVID in a totally different area.
Yeah.
The waiting room COVID people. We were in a garage basically that was heated by like a huge heater, like propane
Yeah.
heater, and they're all kind of
Was it
sanctioned
the
off.
was it like the umbrella heater? Like it has a stall.
No, I don't know. Actually, I don't know where the hell it was. Like I think it was one of those industrial ones that just like does like an entire floor or whatever because they had it all sealed off, like tarped off and everything, but it was pretty warm in there. And I never saw where the heater was.
Well, it was just everybody with a fever.
Yeah, we're all fucking baking. And so I waited in there for like 10 hours before I could even get a room. I was one of the last people in for that day. I was, they're like, hey, I think we got your room. We're going to take you up. So they took me up. You have to go outside for a minute, and it was cold because it was middle of winter. It's cold, so they take you outside and then have to take you back inside, and then you have to go up through a certain elevator that's just for COVID. And they get up to the room, and it wasn't clean. And they're like, we just got a call saying this was clean for this patient, So, like, yeah, sorry, it's going to be probably a little bit longer. So they took me back down. I waited for like another hour. I was second to last person in that fucking, like, garage waiting room. I was so pissed as hell. Finally get a room. Go ahead.
So I had the eye infection, which was gruesome at the same time. So I went to the Javon Bay, which is a pretty new hospital up here, and I was asking people like how long they've been waiting because the waiting room was full. It wasn't a separate waiting area. And as a matter of fact, I didn't even know I had COVID. I thought my fever was due to my infection that I had going on, And so I'm asking people, and they're like, "Oh, we've been here for 6 hours." One guy said 8 hours, and I was like, "Oh my god!" So I ended up driving up to Madison, which is like an hour and 20-minute drive for me.
Yeah.
But they have a VA hospital in Madison, and so that's where I get my healthcare through. Not a single person in the waiting area. I got right in, so in essence, I had an hour wait because I drove an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just insane. But anyway, you finally got into the room, and
yeah, I finally got in the room, and the reason that because I think I did go get tested the 2 days before, and I was waiting for the results, and they came back like 2 days later, and I was just like, okay, I was just gonna stay at home and just wait it out, but like my body was hurting bad. So when I finally got in the room, they put me in with another guy that they put him in the room about like 3 o'clock in the morning for some dumb reason. I was already trying to sleep and whatnot, and they bring this guy in here, and he's complaining about they had to fly him in from another city or whatever because they didn't have room at the hotel or the hospital that he was supposed to go to or whatever. And then I hear him like a couple hours later, he's complaining because I'm snoring so much. And I didn't hear him say that I was snoring, but he's like, I haven't had a single ounce of sleep because everything that's going on over here, and like we're separated in in a room. There's like a curtain in front of us, so I don't even see the guy. But I just know he's complaining about me because I sound like a motherfucker. And so I'm just like, good, get him out of here. And so they finally got him a separate room. And they brought in another guy like a couple days later. I was in there. I missed Christmas. I missed New Year's. I was in there until the 7th. I went in on the 23rd. So I was in there a good bit. And I hadn't seen Madison, because you can't see her, obviously. But I hadn't seen her like a week before I went in, because it's just the way that like our visitation works. So it was like a month almost since I had seen her when I got out. I was losing my goddamn mind, honestly. I'm on the phone like a couple nights before I leave, and on the phone with my mom, just crying, just bawling. I'm like, I just want to get out of here. I had like just the worst. I was just like, I was feeling better. I was still on oxygen. They were like ramping me up. Hey,
Just gotta say goodnight to my kids.
not cool. Hi guys. Probably can't hear me. Grogu.
Sorry about that.
No, that's right. I was shouting Grogu, but I don't think you heard it.
I'm glad you didn't, because they're not caught up yet. So.
Oh, seriously? Oh my
Yeah.
god, that would have been the worst.
Well, I've seen it all, but they're watching it. So.
That sucks. I thought it would have been horrible. Like, who's Grogu? No, nobody.
I meant to say Baby Yoda. My bad.
Yeah, that's what what was this? That's so funny. Oh shit! I spoiled it for one of my friends once. They're like, "Who's Grogu?" I'm like, "Nobody."
So my buddy did like the classic spoil. His sister was known for like rereading books. She was a book nerd. She loved to read and reread and reread books. So nerd is the wrong word. She's a book enthusiast.
Yeah.
But anyway, she was reading the Half-Blood Prince, the Harry Potter book, and my buddy was walking by her room, and he's like, "Man, isn't it crazy that Snape kills Dumbledore?" And she's like, "What?" Because she hadn't read it yet, and so like total just absolute spoil.
You know what? I'm a huge reader, and I don't think I would really care to sit there and read all those books.
Well, I don't like music, so
But I know you're a big reader. But what I'm saying is, I have just recently, for the first time, watched those movies.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I put it off for a long time just because it was the hype, one of those fucking hype things. And I'm just like, fuck that. I'm not gonna watch that just because everybody likes it so much. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna watch it. And then
I would say that in this case, and there's definitely hypes where it's like, why? But with Harry Potter specifically, I would say like the hype is warranted. Like people like it because it is good.
Yeah. And I will admit, like me and Maddie, we watched all of them 1 through whatever it is, 7 or 8 or whatever, and I enjoyed them. I fell asleep during some of them, but Madison filled me in on what I missed. It's like I'll fall asleep through movies every once in a while, depending on when we start them. But yeah, like I enjoyed them, and like we have conversations about it and shit like that. She hasn't read all the books, but she's read like a couple of them. I think she read like the first 3, and but then it's kind of cool to hear that they're like coming out with another one with actual Harry Potter, so that'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it was a decent movie, decent book adaptations. Like as far as book adaptations for movies go, like it wasn't the worst. Obviously, like if you read the books, there's always the oh man, the books are so much better, which is true.
Yeah.
But that being said, they did a pretty good job. I would say like give them a read, man. Like you got some extra time,
Yeah.
Expand your mind.
Yeah.
Put down the headphones.
Don't you ever say that again. How about what? Can I do Audible? Could I listen to them on Audible at least? I'd be willing to do that.
I almost never read in print books anymore, and that's just because I'm a busy guy. Like I drive, like I said before, I'm a traveling salesman. But being a traveling salesman, I get a lot of time in my car.
Sure.
So I have an Audible subscription. I have like 80 titles, I think, on Audible right now. So yeah, I listen to Audible all the time. Now I won't let my kids listen to Audible because I think like they need the practice of reading.
Sure.
So I make them read. But like for anyone who's not, anyone who's like read before, I highly recommend Audible. It's great. It's voice actors. I mean,
sometimes it's like done by the actual authors that did the fucking book in the first place.
Yes, that's true. However, I prefer when it's not. I prefer when it's a voice actor,
Really?
because they do like all the voices for all the
Hmm.
characters, where
Yeah,
the
that's true.
author tries, but like, but anyway,
I want to. I wish there was. I want to break into voice acting. I think that'd be funny. I think that fun. It's not funny, but I think it'd be a fun thing to do. But I heard it's very hard to break into.
I bet you it
Um,
is. Yeah.
there's so many people. It's like almost like regular acting where there's just so many people out there, and that's something that you can do on Fiverr. You can put your voice acting like on Fiverr and saying that you'll read like you know you put however many pages per dollar amount or whatever, 10 pages for $10 or whatever, and or you also state like Midwestern male or middle aged male or whatever kind of other shit you can do, like whatever kind of voices you can do, whatever. I think that'd be fucking rad. And I just don't know how to get started. I heard a lot of times you just have to kind of get together like a reel, so to speak. Like just a bunch of audio of you just talking. And I heard that helps a lot to get started with that. And they also suggest getting even like an agent early, even if you can't necessarily afford it. Maybe work out a deal with them, blowjobs maybe. I don't know.
Wow. That's a concern.
Did I say blowjobs? I didn't mean blowjobs. I mean hand jobs. My
Oh,
bad.
wait, what?
My job. Totally different. It's only per job. It's a hand job per hand job. Per job. I don't know. I'm gonna stop talking. So, anyways, I think that'd be cool to do. And so, yeah, I when I worked at Gibson for a while, we could listen to music in headphones, our headphones and stuff. And after a while, you're like, I don't know what to listen to music wise. And this is kind of Audible was just starting, so I didn't have an Audible subscription, but I went through Spotify. Spotify has a bunch of like books on tape there, and I remember like just going through like the classics, like uh, what's his like the original Frankenstein and
Sure.
Invisible Man and Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, shit like that.
I'd like to listen to those.
And they're really fun to listen to. But like the Invisible Man one, I'm like, how come they haven't made a movie that was like based off of the book? Because they haven't. Not that I know of. They haven't made a.
They had a TV show back in like the 70s, 60s maybe, but it was really bad.
Yeah, and I think with the technology that they have now, they can make it really cool. Because I don't know if you've ever read the book or
I
read
have not.
the the medicine that he takes to turn invisible. Like it makes things go invisible. Certain parts of it in his body goes invisible faster. So like his skin is like the first thing to go. So then he looks almost like see through, and then like veins and some bones, and then it comes down to where like his teeth and his nails or whatever are the last things to go. So you see those all these like weird shit floating around, and I'm like I can see that being such a great visual experience, seeing just the blood vessels and a heart. You just see like this heart just slowly disappearing and shit. It's just awesome. And then the end of the actual fucking movie, or the end of the book is brilliant too.
What you're describing is like a pain I felt over and over again as an avid book reader. So The Dark Tower is one of my favorite book series ever. It's made by Stephen King. It's not horror though. A lot of people hear Stephen King, they think horror, but
They came out with that, just didn't they? Did they have a movie with Idris Elba?
They did. So I was for a while. I was like, man, I wish they could make this into a movie series. The movie they made, labeled The Dark Tower, had a couple of the characters that were in the books. A couple of them.
Yeah.
That's where the similarities end.
Really?
Like it was completely. They took it's what a 8-book series or something like that, and they made it into one 2-hour movie.
Holy shit.
Like you can't. Yeah, you can't do that.
That's weird.
I won't spoil it because I highly recommend reading the books. The books are great. Um, I don't want to spoil, so you should get the Dark Tower books. If not for nothing else, they're really long books. So if you have an Audible subscription, they're a lot of bang for your credit.
Sure.
So you get one credit a month. It's like 40 hours for
Holy
one credit.
fuck.
So like it's a lot of bang for your buck. So if for no other reason, but to know like it's probably one of the best fantasy series ever written. That's another nod. Like it's right up there, and on a lot of like if you look up like any list and you like top 10 fantasy series, the Dark Tower is usually on there somewhere.
Uh,
So even with the likes of the Wheel of Time, which if you're into fantasy at all, like
not
a
really.
common one. What's another? Lord of the Rings is another
Sure.
common one. Game of Thrones,
Hmm.
and so forth. Um, I've read all the Game of Thrones. I have not read Lord of the Rings.
I was gonna ask you about those. I wonder if you'd read either one of those series.
Yeah, so I've read Game of Thrones. I'm a little like along with every other Game of Thrones reader perturbed because like when did A Dance with Dragons get released? A Dance with Dragons. When was that released? Release date. Let's see. Yeah, and so I can't even find the release date. Oh, it's on videos. Let's go to all. Thanks, Google. Released in 2011 was when A Dance with Dragons by George R. R. was released, which
Hmm.
is the fifth novel of supposedly seven. Supposed to be seven total books. The next book has not come out yet. And this is July 12th of 2011.
Wow. And he ain't getting
So
any younger.
no, like
And those books ain't short. Ain't
no,
short.
no. So I mean, like, and they're like, when can you get upset with an author? Because I mean, it's their world, it's their work, it's their everything. And it's a little rude to be like, "Hey, man, when are you gonna write the freaking book?" Let's say that that they said, the book will be out next year, and we're in 2011, right? And he's like, "Yeah, the book's gonna be released in 2012. We're gonna have the next installment in the series." Okay, 2012 comes by, like it's kind of rude at that point to be like, George, you
Yeah.
said that you're going to write the book. Where is it at? So you're like, all right, we want a good book. We don't want a bad book. Take your time, write it right. You know, 5 years roll by. Like, is that the time you can start complaining now? Like,
That's pretty bad.
when can you start complaining?
When did the
Um,
series first start? The TV series. When did that start?
HBO Game of Thrones release. Thrones season one date. Let's see. 2011.
Okay. So you put that into perspective. They started the show.
Yeah, so he had just released his fifth book of the series,
Right.
got a show with it. Like a show, like pilot went out, was good. HBO signed him to a show,
Amazing. Yeah.
and then has done nothing since.
Yeah. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, the show is concluded. Like it's
Right.
done.
Yeah.
And
How'd you feel about that? The ending. I thought it sucked.
I thought it sucked. Like
They
all the
should.
pictures, all the pictures of like the horse, that somebody's drawing, and like the first like the ass end of the horse is like beautifully drawn, and then as you get to the midsection, it's like oh maybe a teenager drew that, and you get to like the head, and it's like a 3-year-old drew that.
Yeah.
That's like totally Game of Thrones. That's like
This guy's
absolutely.
yeah. This guy's having a full on stroke trying to finish his horse, and he's just not getting it.
It's
You
like
re- he realizes he's right-handed instead of left-handed.
it's like when they ran out of source material, like the
Man.
writers of the show had no idea what to do. That's
Which was
when
like
season.
fast. It would seem like pretty quick. Like like
What'd you just say? I'm
what
sorry.
it seemed like they ran out of source material fast. Like what season did they run out of material? I don't know, but
Well, I
like
think like season. Are you current with the show? Like,
oh yeah, I finished it all. Uh,
so like
I'm not gonna remember everything, but I remember
yeah,
90%
yeah.
of it.
So I think like season four was still pretty good. I think that's when you meet Oberyn Martell, which is played by the same guy who plays Mando, um, Pedro
Yes.
Pascal.
Hmm.
Which I think, by the way, kudos to Pedro Pascal. He pulled off Oberyn Martell better than anyone could have, better than
Really?
my wildest dreams. Like I read the freaking book, he's just insane. He was very good. Like, hats off to that guy.
The motherfucker's a good actor, and that doesn't hurt. And then as long as they can have solid writing behind it, that's good. That's good.
Like,
I remember that. That was really good.
I loved him. But anyway, that was pretty good. So it was like through season 4. I think it was in season 5 when they started to lose source material, because you think, like, in the books, Daenerys is still across the Narrow Sea. She's not in Westeros yet. Um, Barristan Selmy is leading troops into a battle outside. I can't remember the city she's in now. It's been so long since I've read the freaking book. But whatever.
The names are the thing that I have the hardest to remember. I mean, I remember the bulk of the names, but like some of them, you start getting into, and it's like, okay, I'm trying to think.
So Sir Barristan was the captain of the King's Guard. He's the one who, when Joffrey got to be king, they ousted him as captain of the King's Guard, and he confronted them. He drew his weapon, and then they all drew down on him, and he threw his sword down, said, "Even at my age now, I'm old, but I can still cut through you all." That's Barristan.
Yeah, okay, I think I remember that guy.
Yeah. He was one of the people that Ned Stark said he wouldn't want to fight because Sir Barristan was so good.
Oh wow.
So like Sir Barristan Selmy is awesome, but anyway, he's with her across the Narrow Sea. She's still there. Jon Snow, I can't remember what's going on with him. I know that they had not taken back Winterfell, like that had not happened.
Right.
I think he's still in the Night's Watch, I believe, or I can't remember. Yeah, I think he hadn't even died yet. I don't remember. It's been that's the problem. It's been 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to remember, and then I've seen the books.
Well, I hated the fact that they took that like 2 or 3 year old, a 3 year sabbatical or whatever before they even came out with the last season.
Like,
it was so far between that 7. It was 7 and 8 seasons. 8 seasons, is that what it was?
Yeah, but see, as a book reader, I almost didn't care because I was like praying the book would get released before the next season was over.
Well, I had a friend. He was pretty hardcore into it too. He's like, I just want him alive. Like if they release this thing and I die before, if they release it after I die, I'd be pissed. And he wasn't like older. You never know. He's just saying like for shits and giggles, like that would suck dying and not having seen the end of Game of Thrones.
So this will sound familiar to anyone watching the podcast who just heard our previous rendition, but Patrick Rothfuss, he's I want to say up and coming author, but he's really not. He's been doing it for a while now. Another one of those date things that's kind of mixed around in the head. But anyway, he wrote a book in 2007 called The Name of the Wind. This book is easily my top 5 books, maybe top 1, maybe.
Wow.
It's hard to say. Very, very good book. 4 years later, he came out with the sequel, so 2011, Wise Man's Fear. On par. Like, again, another solid home run book.
Wow.
The series so far, I could describe as if Harry Potter were a little bit more tragic and written for adults. That's how I describe this series.
So in other words, HBO should buy the rights.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Quoth, who is the lead character in it, would make an awesome lead. Well, the difference between Game of Thrones, though, and this series is focused around Quoth. Quoth is the main character. It's very clear he's the main character, and that's it. Where if I asked you who the main character of Game of Thrones is, what would be your answer?
I don't know. No.
Yeah, like Jon Snow, maybe. Daenerys, like I don't know.
Season 1, it would be
Sean Bean.
Yeah, and then you're like, nope.
You can make an argument for Tyrion. There's many point of view characters, and even in the books, when you pick up a book and you read a chapter, the chapter's title is the point of view. So it'll be like the chapter's title will literally be named Tyrion. And so you'll read it, and it's from Tyrion's point of view, and each
Okay.
chapter is from a different character's point of view. Which, considering the characters are all over Westeros and all over across the Narrow Sea, I think that's the only way you could do it. But this is, I mean, Quoth is it. Like, that's it. But that being said, like, shows have been done before with like one main character and then supporting characters. You know, like it's nothing new to TV. Like, they've definitely done that before. Tomb Raider, for example, right? Like, I mean, you know, or Indiana Jones. Like, there's tons and tons of examples. So
Sure.
this would be that kind of thing. But like I said, Wise Man's Fear was released in 2011. Doors of Stone is the next title. Has not yet been released. Has no release date.
Holy cow.
Which is really crazy to me because I just stumbled across this series like 3-ish years ago. So I didn't know about it back in 2007, thankfully. Otherwise, I'd be a little upset, even more upset now. But I'm thinking, like, I'm really invested in this series. It's really good. Even though the last book hasn't been released yet, I still recommend to anyone listening to my voice right now, like, read these books. They are good. They are
Yeah.
objectively good. But you might not get closure because
Right, because it's not done.
now Patrick Rothfuss is much younger than George R.R., so he's got that going for him. I don't know, how old is Pat Rothfuss? How old is Patrick Rothfuss? No, not Patrick Roy. I don't even know who Patrick Roy is.
He's a hockey player. It's Patrick Waugh.
So Pat Rothfuss is only 47. So where George R.R. is 72.
Wow.
So the odds of Pat Rothfuss finishing the series is a little higher.
Sure. I'm trying to think. Is it George R.R. that has? There's a guy that can finish his work if he needs to if he dies. Is it, or is it, I'm thinking of a different series.
So you are thinking maybe of Wheel of Time, which I know you said you've never heard of it before. However, what happened in that one? Wheel of Time was written by a man named Robert Jordan. Robert Jordan had taken. I mean, Wheel of Time. If you talk to anyone who reads fantasy a lot, they'll at least know of Wheel of Time. It's like, I don't know, 18 books. It's insane. But that being said, it's very good. Every book is well written. Another high recommendation from me. But Wheel of Time was written by Robert Jordan. He kept detailed notes. He had books upon books for his own benefit on what the world was like. So he built this world of what the world of the Wheel of Time was like. And he built it in his own notebooks and his own books. And then he built the books to sell off of that. So he had all these notes. Well, he ended up dying before the final book. However, the final book ended up being 3 volumes. So when Robert Jordan died, before he died, he promised that The Memory of Light was going to be his biggest book ever, and he was going to release it as one book. So he died. That was his dying wish, was that to be one book. He left all these notes and everything. So Brandon Sanderson, who's another fantasy writer who was a big fan, took over and wrote his books for him. No, I think it was Robert Jordan's wife actually gave the nod to Sanderson to finish it. But I think Robert Jordan wanted his work finished if he died. So I think that's where you got that from. But that being said, Brandon Sanderson finished it. And he tried to give in to Robert Jordan's request of it being one book. But the problem was, it would have been, no publisher would take it as one book because it would have been like 3,000 pages.
Holy shit.
Like, it would have been insane. It would have, like, it was not possible, like, to thumb through it. Like, it would have been like one of the comically large books you see in movies, that like as you open it up, it's like the pages do a slinky thing, because like there's no other way to do that. So they ended up making 3 books of the final book against Robert Jordan's dying wish. Brandon Sanderson wrote all those 3. That's probably what you were thinking.
Yeah, because there's a guy that
his work got finished though.
Well, that's good. They're gonna finish. I don't know. Like brain freeze for a second. Well, because I used to talk to Kurt Schweitzer at Gleason about it, about Game of Thrones and stuff like that. And he was the one that was telling me about that guy. I think and those names sounded kind of familiar. Did you ever talk to him about that kind of shit? And it seems like you guys are like right. You guys would be best friends, knowing all the
I
same.
bet you we would have been if we were in the same, generation. But
No,
uh,
not even that. I don't think.
I didn't know he was into that stuff. Like I
He
knew
dressed
that
like a fucking Viking on Halloween, bro.
I didn't know. So Kurt and I kind of got off on the wrong foot, I guess.
Oh.
So Gleason was my first job back so I got back from Afghanistan, spent a
Mm-hmm.
year in a hostile environment. Got back, I took a year off. I was eligible for unemployment, and I said, "Fuck it," right? I earned it. It's kind of how I thought about that. I'll let the taxpayer listening to this decide if I earned that year or not. I don't know. It's up to you. But anyway, so I took a year of unemployment, and I just kind of vegged for a year. Gleason was my first job back. Was my first job, and Kevin and Kurt were in the coding room shooting the shit, and I was in there doing something. I can't remember what, but my back was to them. And one of the, I don't know how to describe it to the viewers, but one of the spacers that you'd put in between the big hobs to cover the etching,
Mm-hmm.
while you were setting it up, one of the big thick ones.
Yeah.
Like I guess think of like a dime washer, but like super big and like a pound.
Yeah.
And so they thought it would be funny because I was facing away from them, which I think most people would, and I don't like hold malice against them. It's something I would do, but at the time I was kind of pissed, so I was facing the other way, and they threw it up in the air and it smacked against the ground and made a super loud sound. Now, with anyone else in the world, it probably wouldn't have been a big deal, but for me, I was fresh out of a combat zone.
Sure.
Like it freaked me out, man. It triggered some stuff.
Oh.
And so I said a little more harshly than I intended to at the time, because my heart rate was crazy high. My anxiety was through the roof. I'm like, don't fucking do that. Like I was like so pissed when I figured out what happened.
Wow.
So we kind of got off on that foot, which was
Yeah.
the wrong one to get off
Well,
on.
yeah, they obviously didn't know what the reason was that you were freaking out about.
Yeah, so they didn't know, and I explained to them after, and then they apologized. Well, Kurt apologized. Kevin laughed, but fuck that guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, Kurt apologized. So, like, Kurt Schweitzer, if you're listening to this podcast, I hear your apology. I understand you did. At the time, I didn't, but I understand. No malice at all whatsoever. It was just a misunderstanding. Matter of fact, you probably don't even remember this incident, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like,
probably.
more than likely not. But
It'd be hilarious. He's like comments. Thanks.
maybe you never know.
That'd be hilarious.
You never know.
Yeah.
But no, so it was that. But like, I think Kurt and I would have got along really well. I really think
Yeah.
I think Station had something to do with like the lack of a relationship being built there. So what I mean by that is I was like the new coder guy,
Right.
and Kurt was like, oh, I used to be the boss of that. Like, not saying he was elitist, but
Yeah.
like I could see there not being like a mutual respect there.
Sure. Yeah.
Not his fault again either, but it just, we weren't on equal footing at all.
Yeah. Right.
Like, you already had a few years in it at Gleason, actually, by that time, where I didn't. I was pretty new. So no, like, I would have liked to have talked to him more about that kind of stuff. Like, Kurt was a pretty smart guy. I know that he could not. So he was touted as like the genius and the smartest guy. He apparently could not install the drivers on the Hauser, that old machine, through the DOS prompt. I was the only one in the building that knew my DOS commands at that time, that was able to run the drivers for the fun.
I remember that when they would bring you in for that shit. I hated working in the coding room. I hated that shit.
I never actually worked the code. I worked there for 4 years. The entire 4 years. The 4 fucking years The entirety of the 4 years, I felt like I was new the
Mm.
whole time. Like they never brought me in. They brought me into the coding room a little bit, but mostly I worked in the stripping area or the
You
cleaning
did
area.
inspection. You did inspection with me for a little while.
I did inspection towards the
That was
last
the
like
best job. That was by far the best out of those forest areas. Inspection. I always fucking jumped on those. The other ones sucked, dude. They all sucked. And if you it's like there's too much stress in the coding room because if you didn't get shit in on time, then they'd give you shit about that. If you didn't set, you just missed one little fucking thing on the thing, you fucked up the entire thing or whatever.
so are you familiar with the hotel problem?
I don't think so.
So if a hotel has, let's say, 700 rooms, so we'll say example, we'll say 300. Hotels have 3 floors, so we'll say 300 rooms. They have 300 rooms, and they sell 100 rooms on a given night.
Mm-hmm.
That means there's 200 rooms that are not being sold. And as the night goes through, that's 200 rooms of lost profit. They will never, ever, no matter what you do, make up that profit because
Mm-hmm.
it's lost. Those rooms are lost forever once you don't rent them. So that's how Gleason was viewing the coding machines the same way. So every minute they weren't
Yeah,
running
that makes sense.
was lost money. So, but they took it about it the wrong way. It was all pressure, pressure, pressure instead of like, I mean, the product's gonna get coded. Like I don't think we've lost that many customers because like it took an extra hour to coat their stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they still got their money, whereas a hotel will never get their money. If you don't rent the room, you don't get the money. The
Mm-hmm.
Gleason still got paid. Like the customers still wanted the.
They fucking overshot all their fucking quotes to accommodate for being behind. Because that was just like most of the time that's what you were. You're just behind the whole night.
And then like you have hot orders that have to go through right away. But then it was like the same customers every time. And then I remember like having whole loads, like an entire load, entire machine full of hot orders. And I'm like, at this point, like if everything's a hot order, then what's really a hot order?
Right. Right.
Like if
No,
everyone's
you have a super hot order now.
if everyone's special, then who's special? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
like well, with that, I'm gonna make another drink.
Cool. Yeah, that job was good and bad all wrapped into one.
So I met like some pretty cool people there.
Oh yeah.
Well, you, for example,
Uh-huh.
Jamie Kitchen, awesome dude. Dean was a really cool guy.
Yeah.
But I also met some unnamed bad people there that I that are now in leadership that I have no idea how that happened. But anyway,
We
you
could
know,
probably say their name and be fine. At least it was the first name.
Michael,
Michael.
he may have came in after you were gone. That's possible. So this guy,
Hmm.
which is one of the companies who produced the machines that we used, and he was like a maintenance tech for Balzer. So you think like he's leaving Balzer, like of course we want this dude, right? Like he worked for
Was
the
he,
menu.
was he a skinny dude?
Not really.
Who's the guy
He's
that would come in and work on the machines all the And he was like kind of a cocky bitch, but he was actually kind of nice once you got to know him. He wore all black. He always had like some kind of like everyday carry knife on him or something, and he was always talking about. He had a couple knives on him. God, what was his name? He had glasses.
Are you talking about? Was he kind of awkward socially?
Yeah, kind of. He was a skinny bitch.
Andrew Thomas?
No, he didn't. He worked for Balzer,
Oh, then I don't know.
and he'd come in from New York every once in a while, and they'd suck his balls because he was from Balzer, and he knew all the little ins and outs and shit.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about now. Um, yeah. Ah, God, who was that?
I can't remember his name. Rob, maybe?
God,
No,
it's just been too long, man. I don't know.
no, Rob. Well, do you remember Rob Avery?
Yeah.
He was a pretty
I-
cool guy.
Yeah. But no, this guy, he came from Balzer, like pretty cool guy. So they hired him, and he kind of did. So he was hired as like us. He was a Tynite coder, like our job.
Uh-huh.
However, he kind of also had like, the extra responsibilities of maintenance on the machines, because like we had some maintenance guys at Gleason that were good, but they weren't like really trained on these machines as well. So like it made sense. Like he's gonna work on the Balzers if they break, because that's what he did at Balzer. Like that makes sense, right?
Right.
Well, like what would end up happening is he worked weekend nights or the weekday night shift, and I'm pretty sure he found a place just in Gleason to go sleep. Like literally just be gone for 3-4 hours
Wow.
of our 12-hour shift at a time. You'd
Holy
page him over the intercom, everything. But now he's like Dan's old job. He's the lead of
Oh my gosh.
the department.
Now he's sleeping in style. I remember one time I went in there and I was sick. And I was running a fever. I don't know what it was, but I know I was running a fever. We just started, and I mean, I don't feel good. And Dean was like, "Man, go to that little nurse's office, sit down there and rest for a little bit, and come back when you start feeling a little better."
Yeah.
I think I passed out there, and I was asleep for 3 hours. And I woke up and I'm like, "Oh my god!" And so I came out, and they're like, "You've been gone a long time." I'm like, dude, I totally passed out. I was totally sick. And they're like, "How do you feel?" I'm like, "I still kind of feel like shit, but I think I did work for a little bit, and I think I left early." But I was just like, "Oh my god, that all got paid 3 hours of sleep."
Here's the crazy, crazy thing about that whole story is, could you imagine walking into a place of work now and saying, "I have a fever"?
Yeah, no shit.
Like,
What are you fucking doing right now? You
like
should not be here.
you'd be the biggest asshole ever. Like,
Yeah,
it's insane.
yeah,
Even though,
totally.
even though more than likely, if you're coming to work with a fever before Corona existed, you probably have a communicable as disease.
Well,
Like,
that was one of those things where like you need to come in, even if you're sick, we'll send you home. You remember that? That was like
yeah,
that was their big deal. Like you could come in puking.
I remember we had that huge snowstorm